The Statesman basketball turn closed the season out on a strong note with a 89-78 win over Montevallo on Saturday. We'll bring up Coach Mike Neighbor to kind of talk about his season, and again, it's finished 11-17. It was a year that his team progressed as the year went along, and I'll let him kind of elaborate on that. But I think that with all said and done, 13 new players, Coach has the program headed in the right direction.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I guess the thing that we feel most positive about is that we took 3 of our last 5. We had that rough stretch in the middle there where we dropped 7 in a row, and after that we went 4-4 the last 8 games, and it was a learning process for everybody involved. It was a learning process for me, trying to figure out which players and how to use them the best way, and there were constant adjustments as the season went on. Probably nothing stands out more than Malik and what happened with him. That we go into the season thinking, hey, there's no way we're playing him. We're redshirting him. He's coming off a really serious knee injury, and we're 5 games into the season, and the thought of playing him hasn't even entered anybody's mind, not even his or mine. And we get one more injury, and we lost Zach, and then we lost Cam. Cam was in and out throughout the year. So again, Princeton offense, the 5 spot is the most critical position on the floor, and we had 2 veteran players that we were targeting to play that position starting the season. It was still going to be tough, with a whole new roster and trying to get those guys to adjust, but we thought we at least had veterans that were going to be manning that position. And as it turned out, we had a very good freshman playing it the last 4.5, 5 weeks of the season, playing the lion's share of the minutes. But it took time. It was the first week of December before we decided at Montevallo to even play him, and I think he played 8 or 10 minutes that first game, and it was a process. But obviously that got better as things went on, and I felt like the whole team made progress together. Michael Motley, we kind of had ups and downs with him during the course of the season, and he dealt with it. He's another one that dealt with injuries. He was starting early, struggled a little bit, but partly struggled because of injury. And we kind of went away from him for a while, and then decided to give him a shot again as he was playing better in practice, and we moved him back in that Union game, which was right during this stretch of games where we went 4-4 to finish the season. And I think from that game on we were 4-3 when we lost that Saturday at Union. But we put Mike in against one of the best players in the league, and he did an unbelievable job defensively. So good that he continued to get the best guy to guard every game the rest of the season. So there's just a lot of things, and again, that was me learning what was the best way to play and to adjust with these guys. So I feel really good about it. I feel really good about the way things ended. Obviously you don't get to win your last game very often in basketball. I was talking to my brothers and thinking, when's the last? I said, the last time I won my last game is the only time in over 40 years, because in high school you're not going to unless you win the state. And the first year at CBU, we didn't make the conference tournament, and we rallied. We had senior day and got the guys up and talked about winning your last game, which is what we did Saturday. And it was kind of cool the way it ended with our seniors, and Cam getting that dunk late in the game was really neat. And so it was a good day. And I think we're going into this off season and spring conditioning, weight work and stuff with a real positive feel.
With the record the way it was toward the end, it could have been very easy for there could have been a woe is me, I'm just ready for it to
Right.
be over with. But every time the guys hit the floor, it didn't seem like they had that mindset. How pleasing is it as a coach knowing win, lose, or draw, playoffs or no playoffs, they're going to be in it to win it?
We tried to stay in their heads about that all year, because we talked in terms, other than for the seniors, we talked about this is just as much about next year as it is about right now. and where we want to be. And I was always quick to qualify when I would say that to the team. I'd say, I know when I start talking about next year, the seniors are thinking, well, Coach, that's not going to help me a whole lot. But my thing always to quickly reply, to respond or follow up with was, that's the best way to finish strong for our seniors. And obviously Anderson was playing 40 minutes a game, and his heart was in it all the way through. And Cam, I told the guys, talk about a good example of being a teammate, because his role changed so drastically up and down throughout the season. And whatever we asked Cam to do, and again, he was coming off injuries a lot of times, but as Malik became the young star, a lot of seniors in that position would not have taken that very well. And Cam kind of took Malik under his wing. I mean, he really worked with him and, kept a good attitude. And, and again, to me it was cool because, again, when he got that dunk Saturday, we had the game won at that point. He turned and just had this big grin on his face toward all of his teammates. He was smiling at the bench, and all the guys were all fired up that he got that dunk. And you could just see that all the guys on the team were pulling for him and were happy for him to get that dunk. So, I think we've got a good family feel. Coaches, we always talk about this, but, in this day and age, you talk about a senior that basically lost his playing time to a really good freshman, and he's still got his head up and he's still smiling. He's not backbiting and pouting. Unfortunately, that's become pretty rare. So I felt really lucky, and I've made a big point of it to our younger players to say, here's a guy that has shown you how to be a teammate. So, and of course Anderson, was out there battling to the finish all year. And anytime I'd get frustrated with anything about Anderson, which wasn't very often, but if I did, I'd just think back, again, injury. The 2 games we had to play without him were brutal. So that was probably the darkest days. When losing to Bethel at home was one of the ugliest games of the year, and we didn't have Anderson out there. We didn't have Aaron out there either. We had a lot of people not out there that day, but again, things ended positive, and I feel good about the direction where we're headed. You never want to go 11-17, but. And I was hoping for better than that at the beginning of the year, but I was hoping we could get through it. If you'd have told me all the guys that weren't going to be playing when it was all said and done, and all the injuries we were going to face, and everybody faces injuries, so it's part of athletics. But I'm very pleased with what these guys did.
What are some goals for recruiting now? Kind of going, what are you going to look for?
Well, the biggest thing, obviously, when you look out on the floor Saturday, and 4 of those guys that are playing pretty well, 3 are going to be seniors next year, and and you got the freshman of the year out there. If he's not the freshman of the year, there needs to be an investigation throughout the Gulf South Conference. But so you got the freshman of the year, and you got 3 seniors that are all playing pretty good. All put up good. Key had borderline all-conference numbers all year, and Aaron led the conference in rebounding, double-double. We got 3 pretty good seniors coming back with a very good freshman. So obviously we got to replace that point guard. We got to replace Anderson, but we feel like we've already got 2 that, again, they're not going to be like Anderson, with the experience and seasoning, that he has. They're going to be. We're looking at freshmen, but I think we've got a really good freshman already targeted, a kid that I'm very familiar with that has run Princeton in his high school program for 4 years. So I think he'll be able to pick it up and take the ball and run with it. And like I said, I feel good about it. We're almost done. We're looking probably for 1 more, maybe 2. But so I feel pretty good about where we are.